This is Kim Ki-won from Richgo. Today, I want to talk about household debt. There seems to be a view that household debt is now stagnant and no longer increasing, so we shouldn't worry about the household debt issue anymore. I want to provide an accurate diagnosis of household debt based on facts. This report is the latest one published by the Korea Financial Research Institute just recently in November, titled Current Status of Household Loans and Individual Business Loans and Delinquencies. As you can see here, since 2022, the growth of household loans and loans for self-employed individuals has generally been slowing down, but the repayment burden on vulnerable borrowers is still considered to be significant. That's the gist of it. But let me dive a little deeper into the topic. It's easier to understand when we look at it through charts. So over the past 2 years, the growth of household loans and loans for self-employed individuals has generally shown a slowing trend. In other words, household debt is no longer increasing. It's okay. Is it okay? No. This is something that could easily be misunderstood. As you can see from 2017, 2018, and 2019, what do you think? As you can see, household debt was rapidly increasing. During the COVID period in 2020 and 2021, a lot of people really pushed themselves to take out loans, right? After that, household debt started to slightly decrease from around the middle, and now it's showing a slight increase again. However, what I think is that this isn't a sign of safety. It's because people no longer have the capacity to take out more loans. The fact that the total balance of household loans isn't increasing much is not a good sign. I actually see it as a dangerous signal. But what I think is that this isn't because it's safe. It's because people no longer have the capacity to take out more loans. The fact that the total balance of household loans isn't increasing much is not a good sign. I actually see it as a dangerous signal. Why is it that despite all these special loans for newborns and the special housing loan being released in large numbers, this is the only increase we've seen? Why is that? Now, people no longer have the capacity to take out more loans. So what does that mean? I believe this is not a safe situation, but rather an even more dangerous one. Here we have mortgage loans, other loans, and the total. So that's other loans. From 2022 to 2024, as you can see, what was happening with mortgage loans during this time. At that time, there was the special housing loan. Meanwhile, mortgage loans had a significant increase, then decreased. And after the special, loans for newborns were released. Mortgage loans increased again, but are now slightly decreasing. So what's happening with other loans? Other loans aren't really increasing much. In fact, they're actually decreasing. So how about other loans? Other loans aren't really increasing much. In fact, they're actually decreasing. So it's a situation like that. So just by looking at it, what does the increase in loans indicate? So the increase in loans is due to the special housing loan and the special loans for newborns. So even after all this has been done, why is the total loan balance not increasing? It is actually decreasing. This indicates that the current situation is quite serious. Why? They don't even have the capacity to take out loans. So the third chart shows the trend of loan balances and increases for self-employed individuals. How about self-employed loans were increasing well until around the second quarter of 2023. But since then, they haven't really been increasing, right? And this red line represents the increase trend. This bar graph shows the total loan amount. So if you look at the increase trend, you can see that it has dropped significantly. So right now, the whole situation is tough for self-employed individuals. So there are so many people who are really struggling and they have to somehow take out loans just to keep things going. But now what? This situation is so tough that they can't even do that anymore. It's definitely not a good thing. It's such a tough situation that they can't even do this anymore. It's definitely not a good thing. You know, when I look at some real estate experts, they try to fit everything into a narrative of rising prices, no matter what. Upward trend, no matter what. Right. Wow, this is really, I think we need to look at all the data objectively. No, it's not the case. Our self-employed individuals are in such a tough situation right now. Self-employed individuals are doing well in their businesses and are really happy. So the loan amounts are decreasing, then that would actually mean the economy is improving, which would help the real estate market. But now, more than ever, the self-employed are having a very difficult time, and even loans are not increasing like this. What is this? It's so tough that they can't do anything anymore. Please, take a good look at the current situation and share some helpful insights with many people. Don't just say what you want to see. Now, if you look here, despite the overall trend of stabilizing household debt, it seems that the debt repayment burden for vulnerable borrowers still exists. A somewhat difficult term called LTI has come up, and what this means is that it's the total household loan balance divided by annual income. So, how much is my loan balance compared to my annual income? So, if you look here, it means that the LTI is less than 1. What does that mean? My total loans are currently less than my annual income. So, since my loan balance is smaller than my income, what does that mean? I should be able to pay it off quickly, right? Because it shows how much I can repay based on my income. So, as this moves further to the right, what does that mean? As the LTI increases, the debt-to-income ratio is very high, indicating a high risk of being overwhelmed by debt if things go wrong. In 2022, it was about 49.8%. For 2023 and 2024, the LTI remains at 50.4%, meaning about half of households have loans less than their annual income, which is relatively safe. So as you can see, in 2022, it was about 49.8%. In cases where the debt doesn't work out, the LTI for 2023 and 2024 is the same at 50.4%. So, still, about half of the households have loans that are less than their annual income, which is quite a good and safe situation. This shows that in 2022, 2023, and 2024, there was a slight improvement of about 0.6%. However, compared to 2023, there hasn't been much improvement for 2024. So next, if the LTI is less than 2, that means if my annual salary is 100 million won, then my loan balance should be less than 200 million won. These people improved to 19.4%. They increased. These people increased. These people increased a bit. These people have been continuously increasing. So the ratio for those with debt between 2 to 3 times their income has decreased from 10.3 to 10.2 to 10. So having a smaller loan balance is definitely a good sign because it means a better ratio. So please take a look at those parts. For those with an LTI of 5+, if income is 100 million won, loans exceed 500 million won. These individuals are 9.8%, 9.3%, and 9.4%. Compared to 2023, there's a slight increase in 2024. High LTI borrowers decreased from 9.8 to 9.3 and 9.4, while LTI 4.4 to 5 went from 4.6 to 4.4 to 4.3, showing a decrease. The ratio of high loans is decreasing. However, 2024 data is only until June. Household debt over 5 times income shows. The proportion of people with a high LTI is gradually decreasing, which means that the percentage of those with a lot of debt is slowly going down. However, we haven't finished 2024 yet. The data is based on the end of June. The household debt balance being more than 5 times the annual income indicates that there is still a significant proportion of borrowers facing a heavy debt burden. In fact, this has increased compared to last year. So we can conclude that the debt situation is still somewhat burdensome. Now this data is from 2023, so it's a bit older, but it can still be referenced. It shows how much liquid assets have improved from March 2022 to March 2023. It illustrates how the average liquid assets per household have changed based on income quintiles in 2023. As you move to the right, it represents individuals with higher incomes. The gray area indicates those without financial debt, meaning they have no financial liabilities at all. The red area represents those with financial debt. If we look at the first quintile, which includes the lowest income earners, we can see that compared to March 2022, both those with and without financial debt saw a decrease in their liquid assets by March 2023. So, for those with lower incomes, their liquid assets have decreased even more, making their situation tougher right now. Then the second quintile. The second quintile is the next lowest income group. The first quintile is a little higher, and these people have increased just a little bit. Just a little bit. There was a slight increase, and then for those in the middle class, specifically the third quintile, individuals without financial debt saw their liquid assets increase by about 700,000 won. However, those with financial liabilities actually experienced a decrease in their liquid assets. So, middle-class individuals without debt have seen a slight increase in their assets, but those who are middle class and have debt have seen a decrease in their liquid assets because they are struggling with their debts. Moving on to the fourth and fifth quintiles, which represent individuals with relatively higher incomes, we can see that, whether they have debt or not, their liquid assets have still increased significantly. The highest income earners without debt have seen an increase of about 10 million won in their liquid assets from 2022 to 2023, while those with financial debt have seen an increase of about 3 million won. So it is expected that households with low income and financial debt will have a worse debt situation and spending capacity compared to other households. Just by looking at this, you can clearly see the stark contrast between the rich and the poor. So, As interest rates rise at some banks, it seems that even the liquid assets of those with lower incomes, particularly those below the middle class, are decreasing. It seems that we have no choice but to tighten our belts even more in this situation. So this is a somewhat serious piece of data. This shows that the proportion of borrowers with overdue household loans and personal business loans has continued to increase in 2024 compared to the same period last year. So if you look here, this orange part indicates loans that are overdue by more than 30 days. Next, the lighter color marked with an X represents the balance. And then there's this gray part, which indicates loans that are overdue by more than 90 days. Up until 2022, the rate of loans overdue by more than 90 days was stable, but starting in 2023, it has been fluctuating and increasing continuously, and it's still rising in 2024. So, being overdue by 90 days means missing payments for 3 months, right? The proportion of people who are 3 months overdue is gradually increasing. So what does that mean? As the number of people falling behind increases, will they be able to take on more loans? So, what's the reason that household loans are no longer increasing and are stagnating? Our household has become strong, so I don't need a loan anymore. It's okay. I've got a lot of money in my pocket. It's not because of that. Ultimately, as the delinquency rate increases and more people are falling behind on payments, they can no longer take out household loans. That's why, despite the introduction of special loans for newborns and other special loan programs, household loans have not increased in 2023 and 2024. What does mean? The situation is really getting more and more dangerous right now. And this orange part indicates loans that are overdue by more than 30 days. How about loans that are overdue by more than 30 days? 2022 was relatively okay, but in 2023, 2024, it's been continuously increasing. So, the proportion of people who are 1 month or 3 months overdue is gradually increasing. And if more and more people are overdue for 1 month, meaning more than 30 days, then naturally, there will be even more people who are 3 months overdue, right? So, we are gradually heading into a very risky situation. This is the delinquency rate for individual business loans. As you can see, household loans are represented by this dotted line. So, originally, the delinquency rate for individual business loans was lower than the overall household loan delinquency rate. But how is it the delinquency rate for individual business loans reversed at the end of 2023, and now it's much higher? So, right now, self-employed people are heading towards a very, very dangerous situation. I think you can see this as clear fact about household loans now. I would like to sincerely thank the Korea Financial Research Institute once again for creating this excellent report, and with that, I will wrap up today's discussion. If you enjoyed today's content, I would appreciate it if you could give a thumbs up and subscribe with notifications. Thank you.